If you're using half your concentration to look normal, then you're only half paying attention to whatever else you're doing. Just pointing out something that could save your life. You want society to accept you, but you can't even accept yourself.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another trip around the Multiverse. And we're continuing with our discussion on the X-Men Prequel movies. So I hope you enjoyed the last one and enjoyed the last episode, which was Secret Wars? No, sorry, Secret Invasion. Anyways, now jump back into action. Barry's reference.
So, Apocalypse's four horsemen are Storm,
Yep.
Angel. Now, Psylocke, I'm like, right, okay. I mean, I don't know about any other association with the four horsemen, but then again, Storm probably whatever, right? But Olivia Munn with a very comic accurate costume.
Yeah.
Which I accept, but everyone else's costume looks slightly different, even though are they all designed by Apocalypse? Because hers look very different to everyone else's.
Yeah. Maybe she had one already. It's like, yeah, no, I'll use this.
Yeah. No, Apocalypse, no, I'll use my costume. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, okay. You know, gotta show the legs off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You go, girl.
All right.
You go.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Magneto once again having his family wiped out, and it's like, oh man, give this guy catch a break. Come on. You know, his story arc I got, even though they had to go and get so his kid couldn't control their mutant abilities because they were getting harassed by the popos because Magneto's like help someone from getting crushed, and that one dude who's like got fascinated by the birds and let go of his bow for some reason. He couldn't just point his thing downwards. No, nothing. No. Yeah, he couldn't try to shoot the birds. No, he just, I'm going to kill the wife and kid accidentally by not looking at them while I'm distracted by something. Okay, right.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, kind of typical, but for it to go the way it needs to go to get to where you need to get. But yeah, fair enough.
Oh. Yeah. And then
it did make sense to make Magneto a horseman from that.
Yeah. And then the bit where they go to Auschwitz, that's what it's called.
Yeah, Auschwitz. Yeah.
Yeah, that bit's quite like sad. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Because like it's your people and stuff. I was like, oof. Yeah. This. Yeah. I mean, you could have just had Magneto straight up not had a family, and they could have just done that scene as well, and it could have had not necessarily more impact, but it would have been not necessarily the same either. But you're like, all right, the logic still applies whether he had a family to call or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Havoc, oh my goodness. So they just happen to have a nuclear bomb, whatever it is. I don't want to say nuclear bomb, but whatever was powering the X-Jet that was behind the doors. That was where Apocalypse was in front of when he teleported that Havoc blast.
Yeah.
To cause a massive explosion. Yeah. I was like, all right. I guess.
Like, sure, yeah.
I mean, all right. But then when Stryker came along, very fast, by the way, he must have been watching the X-Mansion and just waiting for a chance to pounce.
Yeah.
Because that went off, Quicksilver rescued everyone. About 2 seconds later, he's like, yeah, trank them all,
yep,
right now.
Let's take them. You're like, oh, wow, this dude was waiting in the wind. Like,
yeah, he's like, oh, how did you get us? Oh, there was an explosion. We got notified from an explosion around in the vicinity of here. And like, no.
You've been waiting.
Yeah, you were just waiting for any opportunity to go and kidnap them all for no reason whatsoever. Yeah. Well, what was he? He kidnapped them to where's the location of Magneto or something like that, right? But you know, he'd been there waiting for so long just to harass them.
Yeah, man, that was his thing.
But it made sense when on my rewatch I was like, oh, how convenient. But I was like, actually, it made sense because it's not like they wanted the Wolverine. They had the Wolverine cameo for Weapon X in there. Fine. And it actually got them somewhere to further along the rest of the film.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, all right, they get them from A to B to C. Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Maybe there's something more to him, but to be fair, he was in Days of Future Past, so it kind of the strings still moving along there.
Yeah. The strings fit, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like to his. So when Weapon X got out of the tank or whatever it was, and it started murdering the entire base.
Yeah.
He's like to his men, I'll be right back, and then he just
leaves.
Yeah. I was like, you're a joker. This version of Weapon X, Wolverine murdering people, and then when they're at the doors, Jean unlocks some part of his memory or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
She takes away his rage or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that probably explains his fascination with her in. I want to say in the comics as well, but in the original, in Wolverine Origins, there was nothing like that.
Yeah,
so
but Wolverine Origins never happened. That's one you can at least admit they pretend that one never happened. Yeah, that was a fever dream. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So that was cool. In all the publicity, the X-Men were wearing some sort of jet suits or whatever, right? They didn't look like X-Men costumes.
No.
And I just assumed they were prototype X-Men costumes.
Yeah.
But nope, so it turns out wherever Stryker's base was, he had flight jet costumes, which somehow fit magically on these kids that they kidnapped.
One size fits all. Or it goes to whatever,
Yeah. I mean, fair enough, certain leeway, right? But how did you get the heights of everyone? Like, everything fit like that, You don't know everyone's height and width and length and weight and all that.
It could be some weird technology suit that, I don't know. Trying to fight.
I don't know. I was just like, oh yeah, okay. When you're measuring yourself to fit and for things to look perfect, or good enough, like costume wise, because they want to look. You're not gonna have loose fitting costumes and stuff like that, right? No. Even when Scott was like to Wolverine in the original X-Men, wear one of my costumes. Yeah, I'm like, well, they're probably roughly about the same body size, so maybe that could work.
Yeah, it could work. Yeah,
but everyone's kind of different sizes in this film.
Yeah. It's not that much.
Whatever, anyways. Yeah. And then they all have their. I did like the showdown with the Four Horsemen, but I just assumed, by the way, that Apocalypse was going to have the four main horsemen and then other minions maybe to as the survival of the fittest thing. Maybe it was going to be a bigger showdown, but nah. To be fair, it had to be a bit smaller because of the amount of X-Men that Stryker took, anyways.
Yeah.
You couldn't have more people, but
no.
But it didn't not necessarily make a bit less sense with his Apocalypse. Like, this is about survival of the fittest. By the way, I've only got 4 people to protect me.
Well, he did pick some of the strongest mutants you can get at a point in time. So it makes kind of sense.
Yeah, I did like some of the showdowns that they had. That the Four Horsemen had with the X team. And it made sense to use their powers in certain ways as well.
Yeah.
Psylocke got a power boost. Somehow she can make... So her psychic knife...
Yeah.
Somehow became a blade.
Yeah.
Alright. And then became a whip. Alright, okay, fair enough. If yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's all psychic or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if she had telepathy here, but they just made her the which, by the way, is a much better Psylocke than the Psylocke we got in X-Men 3. That was Psylocke, but not Psylocke. Only in credits only.
Yeah,
because she was Asian and had dyed purple streak on her hair.
Yeah,
all right.
Because she never did anything that would make you think it was her. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so. Yeah. So. I did like as well Xavier trying to be involved in also Apocalypse is in my mind. I'm in his. I'm gonna fight him in the psychic dimension or wherever it is.
Astral plane.
Yes, that's it. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Knowing that, then you have you're fighting Apocalypse physically and then mentally as well because Charles gets to do stuff.
Yeah.
And then you tip the battle one way or the other. Except no, Apocalypse is like, nah, I have you, and Charles, I'll beat you up as well. I'm like,
He takes
okay.
it for a mug. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think what's Apocalypse's powers in this film?
I don't actually know. Power of everything, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly. Because
Even
he's just
in the
like
comics, his powers are not really explained what his powers actually are.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's the thing with him. Because like, I'm looking at abilities now, and it just goes on forever. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It seems like his abilities, by the way, is the ability of making secondary mutations, right?
Well, technically, yeah. Because it says ability to augment, manipulate, or steal.
Wait, it's in the
powers.
comics. Are you talking about the comics version or the movie version now?
Comics.
Okay.
Yeah, to steal, manipulate, or amend, powers of other mutants and cosmic beams. So yeah, I guess that's what you can do. I don't.
Yeah, even though he's more like here, who's just using psychic powers, kind of,
I suppose.
and Thanos dust creation powers,
Yeah.
Thanos snap powers or something like that. What did you think of the representation of Apocalypse here?
It was okay. I thought that he could have been used a bit better, but then thinking about how he is, I don't know how you could use Apocalypse better, if I'm honest.
Well, it just seemed to me like if you're calling it Apocalypse, it'd be a bit more like war-torn-ish, something like that. Just like like it being an event rather than confined in a small area.
Yeah. Like realistically, it should have been Apocalypse should be like the Thanos of this franchise. You know what I mean? Like, he should have had like 2 films because he's that much of a badass. But it is what it is.
Or they could have built to him from not necessarily the first film, but at least from Days of Future Past. Right? I know they put him in the end credits, but they could have been like something that someone was researching.
Yeah, could have been a bit more to it. Yeah.
At least they don't get their stuff with Cable and Strife in there, because that'd have been nice.
God, yeah. Again, I love Cable, but
it just seemed it does for. It's a fine film. It just is not as epic as you would expect with the major villain that Apocalypse is.
Yeah, that is basically the best way of summing it up. Yeah. Do I watch it? I've watched it a lot. I enjoy it, but yeah.
It just seemed like
could have done more with it. Could have done more. Yeah.
Okay. Dark Phoenix, X-Men. Well, no, not X-Men Dark Phoenix, just Dark Phoenix, because they decide to market it just that way now.
Yeah, and then when they brought it on like DVD and stuff, it was X-Men Dark Phoenix, which is so weird. X-Men Dark Phoenix.
I think, by the way, sorry, you go first.
No, you go first.
I would say this is a better Dark Phoenix story than X-Men 3: The Last Stand. I will say that.
Yeah, because there's actually a story to it.
Rather than being shoehorned in the B plot then becoming the A plot or something like that.
Yeah, which makes no sense. I literally just watched. Oh, go on.
No, I forgot to mention at the end of X-Men Apocalypse. What did you think of the more comic accurate costumes?
Oh, dude, you don't understand. I mocked that off the scene. I was like, oh wow,
yeah,
that's amazing. I can't wait to see him again.
Yeah, I can't wait to see those costumes in action.
Yeah,
in the next movie.
Yeah,
and then
the
next movie happens, and their costumes were terrible.
Yeah.
Well, no. The costumes
they're okay.
They were like the Grant Morrison style costumes from the 2000s.
Yeah.
But the costumes at the end of the movie of Apocalypse movie were so much better.
Yeah, they were awesome.
They were individual costumes. Comics accurate to enough to a degree.
Yeah.
But not as like so. Let's just go through their costumes because they're so good, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of Mystique's costume?
I'm trying to remember it now. 1 second.
That's the one. That's the one where it's like, where she wears
like her comic one, isn't it?
Yeah. Very similar, but more like an armored look to it.
Yeah.
Because it should be. Well, by the way, do you? Okay. As much as awesome as these costumes looked, would you think, as a team unit, they should have costumes that are similar, or you're like it doesn't matter because in the X-Men films they didn't even wear costumes that are the same anyways.
It's kind of
in the comics.
Because I remember I said that's kind of the problem with the X-Men. Like the only thing that kind of makes them say that they're X-Men is the X on their like somewhere on their uniform. Other than that, it's just like disjointed.
By the way, X could be anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere, literally. Like, oh, okay. Sure. But I like them.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. I think Mystique's one looked pretty cool.
Good. Yeah.
Comic accurate. I thought Nightcrawler's one was very comic accurate. Actually, he had that the red kind of V shape with the the white and stuff.
Yeah.
Storm's one, I'm like, all right, kind of.
Storm one,
fair enough.
I was like, okay, that's kind of closer to some of her modern ones. Like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, I don't think she had specifically had that design, but she's had the grey and the dark colors. Like, she had something similar to it.
Yeah.
Quicksilver's one with the big X. I don't know. I've never seen that one. Have you seen that one in the costumes?
No.
Sorry, in the comics.
No, but it's kind of better than these comic ones because these comic ones make no sense to me.
Yeah, the comic one with the white kind of lightning streak on it.
Yeah. So,
which looks very, very simple.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For someone with his personality, he shouldn't have something simple.
Yeah. I think the bottom half looks fine. It's the big X on the top with that jacket that looks a bit
weird.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Scott's one looks really good.
Yep, Scott's one's awesome.
The only thing that he's missing is the yellow trunks, but in a movie like this, it wouldn't fit.
No. It'll make no
Would you have
sense.
liked his visor to be like the yellows on his costume to be stronger? Because I think he's got a silver visor or something.
Yeah, he got
like
silver visor. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you?
As much as I like the silver visor, I think that might be a bit overkill.
And Jean's costume is kind of it's correct looking enough. The colors just more muted than they should be.
Yeah. But Jean sucks.
Even if you're gonna say, oh, they don't, it might not be about the bright colors and all it. The orange in her costume is very, very dulled, though.
Yeah.
I know Mystique took lead of the team.
Yeah.
But were you waiting like I was waiting? Maybe Scott will, be they mold him into a leader by the next set of films.
No, because he's still young. I was like,
were you thinking that this team would lead the next set of films, like to have not their own trilogy, but their own kind of? They'll be the lead of those films.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. Well, not the
What did
lead,
you think?
but I thought it was going to be more prominent at some point.
Yeah, or did you think this is where this film, like this series, ends on this this trilogy ends here, and then roughly the next set of X-Men films, the original timeline happens, kind of.
No, I thought it was going to just keep going and kind of forget that because everything's sort of changed now. Like, so that timeline is not sort of a thing anymore. So they just go, yeah, cool, we can redo this. Because I thought, okay, they might kind of redo X-Men 1, kind of, but.
All right. So then we had a massive downgrade on the X-Men costumes because they're just jackets with X's on it.
Yeah.
And it's like fair enough. By the way, if you had these costumes at the end of X-Men Apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
And then you upgraded to the other costumes.
Yeah. But you don't.
No. And I have to say, I think the X-Men First Class costumes look better than these costumes as well.
Yeah.
They're just way too simplified.
I kind of get why they did it, to like make them more like we said, like look like a cohesive unit. But yeah, man, they look kind of like dead. Yeah, weren't really.
They're just too the same.
Yeah. Wasn't good.
But what did you think of this? Look, Jennifer Lawrence weighed out. That's all I know about this.
Yeah, that was so obvious. Oh yeah, she just wants out.
Yeah, and I don't mind. I get the logic of her being like, first of all, we've got to sell the movie because she's got become a big movie star between X-Men Days of Future Past and X-Men First Class and X-Men Days of Future Past. Fair enough. Yeah. So you want more of her to draw to say, oh yeah, You know how it's people, you draw people to watch films, yeah?
Yeah,
Fair enough. And you probably want less out of that blue makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably, that stuff takes hours to put on, so she probably went out wear less as well. So fair enough, yeah. Just like Batista.
Yeah.
In Guardians of the Galaxy, because that took hours to put on stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, just have the head and their arms at certain occasions painted up. Fair enough. I think, by the way, her head in X-Men Apocalypse didn't look right. I think the wig on her head.
Yeah.
It looks better here. In X-Men Dark Phoenix.
It did.
But she's like, yeah, kill me the first.
Yeah,
I think she went out.
Yeah.
She went out by the end of the other X-Men film anyway, X-Men Apocalypse. Yeah. So they didn't even need to have her. But the fact that they got her and then they set up the chain reaction in the rest of the film made sense to me.
Makes sense, because if you didn't have her, it'd be kind of weird. But yeah.
Yeah.
She was a catalyst for everything.
Yeah. But I also get, like, the logic of the Dark Phoenix, fair enough. Yeah, I just realised something. We didn't speak about the future costumes.
Yeah.
But they look really good. They look like they kind of like, you make them like in the underground, wherever area that you are, that you can, you had to make with whatever parts that you got put together.
Yeah.
They looked cool, but they didn't look pristine.
No.
And they look like scrappy resistance style items.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to this film. Yeah, I got why it's died and everything like that. Dazzler, by the way, being in this film.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. She said it so briefly, but yeah.
Charles just started sending all his mutants to more dangerous missions because he got too cocky.
Yeah, because
I don't know about, and then like X-Men going into the space.
Yeah. That's weird, but sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I did like as well that the Phoenix entity bonded with Jean Grey to a certain degree, and it's not like they had in X-Men 3 where it's just like, oh yeah, it's the split personality, blah blah blah, and just like
yeah. Yeah, they've understood that.
Yeah. But yeah, so she accidentally kills Mystique, and then she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go full semi-heel turn ish. Like everyone hates me, blah blah blah. Teenage emo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I did like in this film. They have some cool scenes. I just find stuff that's overall put together. It's just not particularly the best way. I like the scene where Jean goes to Genosha.
Yeah, that was it.
And then Magneto's like floating over to her, and then they have that tug of war with the helicopter thing. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And Magneto's like, whose blood is that? Much. And then, then when Beast comes and tells Tattletales, Beast having this beef with Charles. I think that there's logic in the film that worked.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah, and then Magneto pulling out the old first class helmet. Yeah. And by the way, they didn't have the only costumes they had at the beginning were the X uniforms, and then the rest of the film they kind of like more civilian gear, which made a lot of sense. And Magneto go, right, well, I'm going to just go and murder Jean Grey because Jean Grey murdered Mystique, so yeah, that's how we're going to roll. Okay. I didn't mind how they had their teams. They had like for some reason Magneto's like, okay, we're just gonna choose. I'm just gonna choose 4 people to come and kill this mutant. Yeah, probably because he's so cocky, he thinks he can do it himself, right?
Yeah.
Which I get, but then he's like, what if Charles gets in the way of something? Like, you need some more people. How do you know Charles is going to bring 4 mutants as well, and then you'll be able to have a standoff? Nah.
Because they're right. They know each other so well, I guess. I don't know.
The thing is, as well, Charles has got a named team. Even if you say they only appeared in the movie before this, right? Magneto's got himself and Beast, and then 2 other jabronis.
Yeah.
I'm like, right? I think Olivia Munn was meant to be in this, but she dropped out for some reason or whatever. But at least if he had Psylocke on his team, I'd be like, all right, maybe Magneto's team has a better chance of winning, right? Because there's someone there, and then quite obviously the guy who's not a named person, he'll be the one that dies if anyone's gonna die in the team. You know. Yeah, because
Star Trek logic.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same logic, by the way. Have you ever seen Escape Plan? The one with Schwarzenegger and Stallone?
Yeah, I've seen that.
And you know the one guy who played the dude from the Ten Rings in the X-Men films?
Yeah.
Sorry, in the Iron Man films.
Yeah.
When the three of them escape somewhere and then bullets start flying.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's dying. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one guy. He's the one guy who managed to get shot.
Yeah, I knew that coming.
Anyways. Yeah, so, yeah. I was like, all right, it was the cool scene where they're fighting in the streets of New York, Winchester,
New York, yeah.
Wherever they were, right? Yeah, they're having their beef. They have a cool fight. They find each other. It made sense, you know. When I say it made sense, it was like basically mutants fighting mutants in front of humans, which then be like, oh yeah, but you do realize, oh okay. Fair enough, the anti-mutant sentiment has not come about full front as it did in the first original timeline, but
yeah,
you guys aren't helping right now, but I think Magneto didn't care. I did like how he just pulled the train out of the ground and just like used it to block the doorway. And then he's then he floats over to Jean and says, yeah, I'm gonna kill you right now. And she's like, nah, mate, you ain't. Crunches his helmet, throws him through a wall. Uses the shards of the helmet, and somehow they didn't kill Magneto. All right.
Yeah.
The villains of this movie.
Yep.
What is the point? What are they? What? I didn't get them.
I don't get them either. There's some aliens, but I'm pretty sure are made up for the film.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, yes, they worship the future, whatever, right? They want the powers, whatever. But it just seemed like the X-Men need some people to fight. And they need people to fight that with certain abilities that make them a threat. Okay. Yeah. Alright. And let's make the movie now. Oh, okay.
Because I know lots of this film got changed because of another Marvel film come out at the time. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm thinking it was like maybe they thought it was too similar to Captain America Civil War, as in the team fractures and goes into two groups.
Because like they said, like the battle at the end was hugely changed for a reason.
Oh, that battle at the end, yes. I was going to get towards that when we get there, but you go first.
No, because I can't remember. I remember him saying, I don't know. I can't remember what it was like. Was it even Captain Marvel or something? I can't remember.
Well, okay. Here's the thing: the battle on the train with the mutants versus the alien the alien humanoid horde, right? Was actually really cool. I like that. Do you have any opinions on that?
It's gonna be what?
Any opinions on the train fight?
Oh, I like the train fight. It was pretty cool. I like Magneto going ham.
Yes.
And Nightcrawler snapping and just like starting stabbing people. I felt it was really good.
And then Jessica Chastain just walking through the entire train, just no selling everyone. I'm like, fair enough.
Cool, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what
all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was that train fight was cool, and then it's the bit where they got to Jean, and then they derailed the train.
Yeah. And
then she just basically did some Phoenix whirlwind, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And wiped them all out, and you're like, yeah. I mean, that's a bit anticlimactic.
She's the Phoenix. She's
I guess. Worlds. Yeah. I mean, it just seemed a bit like, yes, this is what we're gonna do because we've got a film to finish. So that film was like 2 hours long or something like that, and I don't
just under 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. It never like I think I've said it before, but it moves at such quick pace that I could have done with a bit more of the film. Just because I'm like, yeah, all of a sudden it kind of just ended. Not quite. Oh, suddenly it ended, but just like, you know, it was okay. Here we are, and then we're gonna close out. All right.
Crescendo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of my takes is like I admit, my takes on the X-Men film are quite biased as I love the X-Men. So
yeah,
just throwing it out there.
But you're saying you really enjoyed this film, or you did it? How was your opinion on it?
Because I watched it once when it came out on DVD because it came out in cinema just like that and it was gone. I was like, oh, okay, because it came out during the whole
middle of the COVID, yeah.
No, not in the middle. It came out 2019, so just before end of the year. Because this film got like pushed back because it was about to come out when Disney was buying Fox, and then it got like kind of shelved for a while, and then they decided to bring it out at the end of the year. So I kind of missed it, and then so I bought them DVD. Well, say Blu-ray. I watched it there, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is all right." And then I lent it to my brother. I didn't get it back to like last year, so I only saw it once. I didn't know much. I couldn't remember much of it, so I watched it again literally today of recording this. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's not that bad." All right.
I have to say it's not as bad as I think its reputation is. It could have been. So let's say you had X-Men First Class, good. You had a worthy sequel of Days of Future Past. Then you got like a dip in Apocalypse, a little bit of a dip. Well, yeah, depending, right? Yeah. And then you're like, all right, but they still can. They it's not too bad of a dip, right? Yeah. And then you're like, they can still make a film that equal to that level or above. No, they just kind of a bit more further down, and you're like, okay.
Didn't this film? Was it this of Apocalypse where the whole Bryan Singer's debacle sort of was?
Yeah, this film was directed by Simon Kinberg.
Yeah.
Who?
But didn't he like take over halfway through or something because of the whole Bryan Singer thing?
I think he halfway through production, maybe.
Yeah, something like
but
that.
But definitely was not. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't have a lot to do with it.
For reasons, yeah.
Yeah, for reasons. Yeah. Yeah. So, right. So your overall opinion was it's fine, or
it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
I can see why people kind of have a problem with it, but again, I don't know if some people are just being a bit too hypercritical of it, from my opinion. But hey, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of this. So you know when like Jean's going to her kind of villain arc, but not really, where she's still in her 50-50. Maybe I go this way, maybe I'll go that way.
Yeah.
And how she made her mum sleep at the driving wheel accidentally, crash the car, and then her dad hates her and tells Xavier to take away.
Yeah.
And then when she's reading her dad's mind, she's only reading half the conversation they had, because when she reads Xavier's mind later on, later on in the end of the film, or to calm herself down, she sees the rest of it. It's like, Charles, you lied all this time. It's like, no. You ducked out before you finished reading everything, and then you know.
You're kind of blamed for this yourself, you know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. But I know, as an adaptation, I mean, I don't know, would you call it even an adaptation of the Dark Phoenix storyline? Because I don't think it really is. It's kind of its own thing with hints of that.
It's its own little thing. Like, they took creative liberties and changed it, so yeah. And if they fit it into what it is, with it.
Yeah.
I was saying before, like, Dark Phoenix itself is so long and weird. Not weird, but you know.
I don't think necessarily you could have adapted the comic.
No.
Because there would have been too many things.
Yeah.
And then you would need a Hellfire Club and stuff like that. What they did was fine, I think.
Yeah.
I just don't get the entire backstory of what the hell those whatever
aliens are.
Yeah. Could have had something else, and it would have probably added a bit more meat to it. Even if you didn't have the aliens and you just had like them trying to stop Jean from completing her heel turn.
They could have just brought back the Hellfire Club, in all honesty, but
Well, who's left in the Hellfire Club?
I don't know. Could have like a newer version.
Shaw died.
Dead. Yeah, Emma Frost is dead.
Yeah, White Queen was dead. Azazel. When you say you brought back, by the way, I thought you meant straight brought them back, right? But what you mean is resurrect another version of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that probably would have made sense.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are responsible for what's it called?
Her getting the
her temptations to the dark side, or feeding the fuel to the fire.
Yeah, feeding the fuel to the fire, like opening her inhibitions. Yeah,
that sort of thing. And then you could have. Yeah, I mean, there's stuff they could have done. They just kind of didn't ish.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. So it was. I don't want to say it's necessary for string into the saga of the new timeline, of the First Class timeline, but it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
I did like at the end where Xavier's like, "Oh no, what am I to do with myself?" Like, "Oh yeah, I loved at the beginning of the movie. The people loved me. The president loved me. America loved me. F yeah."
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's down in his dumps and not because he just tried to not necessarily try too hard, but they're like, "Charles, you're sitting back there, taking all the awards and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
We're over here doing everything with our lives on the line."
Yeah.
He's like, "You know what? I did the Rocky 3. I just got too in my head about it.
Too overzealous. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it ruined the family.
Yeah. And then Magneto coming along to him, saying, because Charles was trying to get Magneto to join them.
Yeah.
In the X-Mansion. Whatever, right? Mutants. And then he's like, Magneto's like, "Look, we got Genosha. You can stay with us until you sort yourself out.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. And you're like, "Oh yeah, that's good. That's good." And then you see the flame of the Phoenix in the sky.
Yeah.
Whatever, right?
Oh, cool.
And were you expecting another film, or were you kind of?
I was, but then before the film came out, when they said Disney's bought Fox, like there's not going to be another film there.
Yeah,
they're killing us. And they did.
Yeah. I mean,
planned sequel, but
what do you think they actually planned a sequel?
Yeah, planned sequel, but it just didn't.
Wait, what? Do you know what they were going to do there?
I'm trying to think. Reading it now because on Wikipedia saying there's a planned sequel.
Oh, really? Yeah. I'm just wondering what. Yeah, I mean,
obviously, because that's why they was doing New Mutants, and I think New Mutants was gonna tie into where they're going with the future of the X-Men films. But...
Right, because logically speaking, in my head, even though we both haven't watched it yet, and we will do, New Mutants, I assumed could take place after Logan, because
I think it's set in. I think it's actually set in a certain period.
All right, because I'm just assuming that like all the mutant kids are getting a rebirth or whatever it is. The end of Logan. So I was like, okay, yeah, maybe this is something to do with that. But we'll I mean, first of all, we'll see because we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, no.
But based on my assumption, so you're saying that New Mutants would be technically a sequel, or continue. It's X-Men associated, but not necessarily.
I think as well. I think it was like kind of like after, because that came out after the merger as well, wasn't it? So I think,
which by the way, they just pushed that film back multiple times.
Yeah. So I think it's been like recut and stuff, so to take out certain bits, so then it seems to be its own thing. But we will see when we watch it.
I don't know. I mean, are they trying too hard to adapt Dark Phoenix constantly, and that's why it's not working?
That's my opinion. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Just leave it. But that's the problem with like lots of these comic films. They try to adapt these huge like events that just should be left alone.
Yeah, the thing is though, you could do it in a way that you in your movie before, start pulling things together that then makes this film, the next film, be your Dark Phoenix or something like that. And then you don't have to build up from scratch or whatever like that. You've given enough hints to there here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I prefer this version of Dark Phoenix than the previous version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more confident. It's more like it makes more sense.
Yeah, even though that one, the Cure storyline would have made more sense there. And this, yeah. If you just got, I feel like they had to have some sort of opposition. And
yeah,
like
you were saying before, the Cure storyline could just be its own thing.
Yeah, but even in Dark Phoenix, where it's like these aliens come to whatever, right? And just like, okay, you could have just had them deal with.
I think that's why they tried to make it too comic accurate by getting aliens in it, but then they couldn't use the Shi'ar because you need to explain the Shi'ar.
Yeah. And then you would have to explain Gladiator and the Imperial Guard and all that stuff.
And like, if it's gonna be multiple films, then yeah, you could do it because like the first bit would be when they're on Earth, and then the second bit with, but in one film doing all that, you're like, wait, what? My head hurts.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like this film tries.
Yeah, it tries.
It just wasn't. There wasn't a pay. If they had to like the train action scene was something that you could end on, right? Yeah. I didn't need those aliens coming back, as in doing whatever it was at the end I'm not saying necessarily they were going to win a different way, but how do you top that train fight at the end?
Can't really.
And then they don't. They kind of like, I'm gonna create a whirlwind fire tornado Shoryuken thing magic.
Yeah, but I can't. To me, that kind of made sense. I was kind of copying, taking, and in my opinion, improving the end of X3, with she kind of does the same sort of thing.
That's true. It's true. I didn't think about it like that. I didn't think they were trying to mirror each other. You would have thought they tried to learn their lessons, but hey.
Yeah. But then that bit in X3 to me is like one of the best parts. Anyway, like how Jean dies, even though it kind of doesn't make any sense, but.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. At the end of it, where she's doing the stuff and just dusting everybody, and then Wolverine just shanks her. Yeah. All right. I don't want to say I'll shank. Okay, first of all, I don't want to say stab her in the face, right? First of all, that would have ended the threat right away, but that's way too graphic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying cut off her head either, right? Stab her in the stomach. I don't know about that. Stab her in the heart. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, but that might have been a bit too much as well.
Yeah.
Unless you put his claws, a fist to her rib cage, and then had his claws come upwards, and then you got her heart. But even then, that's kind of like a bit of a
Yeah, it's one of those things again. I'm thinking too much into it.
Well, but as in it's not for children sort of death,
Yeah, if this was like the film Logan, then different story. But
yeah. Would you I didn't think X-Men. I think is a 12 as it's fine as a 12A and stuff like that. I don't think it should be like even when Wolverine was murdering everybody in X-Men Apocalypse. The way they filmed it, you didn't see too much of it.
No.
You just see the blood smears on the wall when he's not doing stuff, as in the aftermath, and then when he's stabbing people, his claws sink into them, but you don't see blood splatter anywhere.
Yeah.
Which I thought
you don't really need, it? So yeah, it's alright.
I thought it was a cool nod, by the way, that sequence to where he looked as Weapon X. Yeah. Even though, like you're saying, right? At this point, X-Men Wolverine Origins is completely different. And you can say alternate timeline, it is different.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like the way they did it there. I mean, it made more sense for him to lose his memories and be feral. So.
Yeah. Because, like, I kind of see it as, X-Men, Wolverine Origins, whatever, his own little timeline. And Deadpool is probably in another time? I don't know.
Well, Deadpool's in what we will call the full timeline, because he'll do what he wants whenever he wants. And as it's a comedy, it doesn't matter if it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, these are meant to be more, I don't say serious, but more straightforward films than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just there's very good parts of this. Okay. Overall, the entire X-Men franchise, Fox franchise, yeah. Not excluding Deadpool at the moment, but only the ones we've gone through. Just technically because we haven't seen New Mutants yet, so and whether that is related to this, we don't know for certain.
Yeah.
Even though I think there's something about the Exodus Corporation, which is at the end credits of Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's in the same. But carry on.
Do you think they missed out on certain villains like Mr. Sinister and the War Raiders? Well, they probably didn't need the War Raiders, right? But Mr. Sinister could have been like a genetics, whatever could have done something here. You know?
No, I think they could have. I reckon if the series carried on, yeah, we'd saw Sinister, but. I don't know if they brought him in a bit earlier. I don't think it would have worked because he needs his time to shine.
Yeah. What about Strife? None of them. None of the Mutant Liberation Front.
Nah, I don't really need them. They're losers.
They're losers. All right.
Who else is there?
Actually, I was gonna say it was quite funny as well because X-Men Origins has Blob. But Blob gets beat up by Angel at the beginning of when Angel's doing his cage fights.
Yeah.
Blob being more comic accurate Blob as well.
Yeah.
Then you have Caliban in X-Men Apocalypse when also there's a Caliban in Wolverine, Logan.
Yeah.
But you know, once 40 years after the other one, people can have the same code name. It'd be odd if they just had the same name and abilities and code name. Just like Angel.
Yeah.
That's when things get wacky.
Yeah, they get weird then.
Also, Jubilee being in X-Men Apocalypse.
And then being
but not getting to do anything, actually.
Yeah.
She was just there hanging out with the X-Kids for a little bit and then she disappeared.
Yeah.
She got probably the amount of screen time that she got in the rest of the X-Men films.
Yeah. Walk on cameo.
Yeah. You know what? Does she get... You tell me... Does she have the most screen time in the Generation X pilot?
I think she does. It's been years since I've seen it, but I think she does.
Oh my goodness! All right.
Yeah, she has the carrots off.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think we know Jubilee mainly from the X-Men animated series.
Yeah.
And she gets to do stuff there, even though her powers aren't really something you'd. I mean, they got Dazzler, right? No, Dazzler was in the other movie, but. It would have been cool if Dazzler's doing her song, whatever, and they had Jubilee doing the fireworks behind her, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But as far as useful powers for whatever reason that they're going to do mutant stuff in the field, unless you're going to try and blind someone with flash bombs, I don't know how helpful those two are going to be.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
Yeah,
it's not that helpful. Yeah. Until she
So,
gets vampire.
like, okay, overall, the entire X-Men film series, like I was just about to say, excluding the stuff we haven't seen and excluding Deadpool because I haven't finished yet, what would you say? What's good and what's not good? What did you like and what you didn't like?
I liked it. If I'm honest, I liked. There's not much I didn't like about them. Probably. That it doesn't get to be finished.
Fair enough.
That's about it, really. Like, okay, like when you think too much about it, the timeline, it doesn't make any real sense. But besides that, yeah, I enjoyed it. There's nothing much I don't like about it. I can't think of anything I don't like about it, if I'm honest.
Well, other than they didn't really use the costumes as much as they should have, maybe.
It. Yeah.
Because I think they at this point they had. From the 90s, they had even from the 80s to the 90s and stuff like that. They had their unique costumes, and they kind of just didn't go that way for some reason. They went for uniforms, yes, but yeah, at least make them slightly more unique to the characters.
Yeah, that's pretty about it. Yeah,
I don't mind some of the changes they did make to the characters and stuff like that. It made sense for the movies they were trying to tell. The stakes seem to get okay. So. The first cast set of films, right? They seem to have higher stakes because the original Timeline films, they are fighting Wolverine was fighting Sabretooth on top of the Empire State Building. Essentially, that's what the end fight was. Wolverine fights Deathstrike at the end of the other film. Like, and then he's healing the back and punching Wolverine in the face and say, "Come on, come on!" And Wolverine kicks him in the nuts and says, "Grow those back." That was quite funny. No, I'm not actually. I'm not trying to rub it into like Wolverine, whatever, right? But that last battle on X-Men First Class seemed to have a lot more stakes than the previous two films.
Yeah.
I know there was other stuff going on in the previous two films, but they seemed more physical fight centric at the end.
Yeah.
Where First Class is like the end fight, the end battle, of course, was like everyone used like fighting everyone with a mixture of abilities, and they weren't like, oh, I'm just going to fight this guy, I'm going to fight this guy. It was like crisscrossing all over the place. And I was like, oh, cool, except for the one guy who was making the whirlwinds, right?
Yeah.
And having blasted him into the submarine, he hit the submarine, he got knocked out for a little bit, and then when he roused up to defend, from his knockout, or whatever, Magneto just pulls the submarine wall and traps, and it flops on top of the guy. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, fine. He's comedic relief. Okay, no, not comedic relief, but they just they made a joke out of him, but that's kind of fine at that point.
Yeah.
The Days of Future Past had the end fight with the Sentinels in the future, which was cool.
And then everyone dies, but
die. Where because you're like, oh, maybe they won't make it. Maybe they will be in a bad timeline. And then Magneto just came basically saying, I'm gonna kill everyone. I'm gonna kill the president in front of all of you people. And then you're like, yeah, but I don't know how that's gonna help you with your cause, Magneto. You gotta kind of think a bit ahead here. After you kill the president, they're gonna want you.
Yeah, it's like
they thought you killed. They thought you killed JFK. They still got you.
Yeah, it's like, dude, man, you just. But then he didn't kill JFK, did he? Then he says, "Well, wait, am I thinking something else?" But he says he tried to save him.
No, they said he killed JFK.
Yeah,
he said he was trying to save JFK.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
because he was trying to move the bullet. Yeah, and that's why they got him with the glass. No, obviously, because he's Magneto. He tried to bomb them in X-Men First Class. So they're going to be like, yeah, whatever you say. You look like you're moving the bullet in that direction. So yeah. But he did say, he was like, why would I kill the president? He was one of us. I'm like, oh, all right, okay. I think people were thinking, though, like you're saying, that he was going to be, the reason he was locked up in the Pentagon, whatever it was, is because he did kill the president.
Yeah.
And they'll explain the magic bullet theory. That's in their continuity, anyways.
Yeah.
I did like the final battle, the action sequence. See, these movies have good action sequences. When I don't say necessarily get more money thrown at, but you're like, okay, these are characters with fantastical abilities.
Yeah,
show them doing stuff, you know. Because that's what I don't say. Okay, that's what we're here for. But we want to see mutants do mutant things.
Yeah, exactly.
And even people that don't have some so even if everyone's fighting, they've got ranged abilities. Even the close range people like Silent to a certain distance, but definitely Beast, he gets to do stuff. And it doesn't seem out of place for him to do certain things, like fighting them. I think Mystique's probably the only one that doesn't really have.
Doesn't do anything.
Yeah, well, no, there's physical capabilities like that. But then again, she showed in the original timeline she can fight Wolverine, who has a healing factor to an equal level. But hey, you know.
To be fair, they showed that she has fighting skills, so you know.
Yeah. But yeah, like you're saying from the very beginning, Magneto, Xavier, all that, they're meant to be in their mid-60s by the end of Dark Phoenix or something like that.
By that. Yeah.
And we're both like, yeah, no, they're very.
They're very probably in their 40s.
Yeah, they're fountain of youth. Where they get it from? So I was like, why is Moira McTaggart not in Dark Phoenix?
Wait, what?
Moira McTaggart, why was she not in Dark Phoenix? The Dark Phoenix storyline.
Maybe they couldn't get around. Like they can't explain why she still looks young.
Yeah. Yeah, but then isn't there was going to be another version of her played by someone else at the end of the end credits of X-Men 3.
But you forget X-Men 3 didn't happen.
Oh yeah, it's true. In my headcanon, by the way, even if I state that this happened, that Moira McTaggart is the daughter of this Moira McTaggart.
Huh?
Yeah. So you know how in Zack Snyder's DC universe, Alexander Luthor, aka Jesse Eisenberg, he's Alexander Luthor Jr.
Okay.
So yeah, so people are assuming. Then people are like, all right, fair enough. If that's the case, then maybe his actual dad will come back, beat him up, and then take his rightful place as the actual Lex Luthor. I don't know, right? But I'm just gonna assume that Moira McTaggart from X-Men 3, even though you say it doesn't exist, but that Moira McTaggart is the daughter of this Rose Byrne Moira McTaggart. Even though I don't think she says she has a daughter, but whatever, right? Would be timey-wimey, because yeah, I think sometimes they just want characters to be in there, and they don't think, all right, this conflicts with other stuff, which is why I just, like I said to you, I think there's 3 different timelines: the original timeline, the First Class timeline, and the Days of Future Past timeline. And then you could say Logan's a separate timeline. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, because I kind of see it as like Days of Future Past and First Class. That's the same timeline.
Yeah.
The original films are in their own little thing. We kind of take what we want from it and make up the rest.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But no, I mean, like that timeline in Days of Future Past, the bad timeline. Would you say that's from the original timeline, or
say it is?
Yeah, it's a separate timeline in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Wolverine Origins, you're saying, is another timeline.
Yep.
And Logan is another timeline as well.
Yeah.
And then you're saying,
I would say that's probably in the same timeline as the Days of Future Past and First Class, and that is the Wolverine.
The Wolverine. Yeah. No.
Because of the end credits.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's an awkward one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because Wolverine could go both timelines.
Yeah.
All 3 timelines, even.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Deadpool is in itself for the moment until we see probably where they end up with. Yeah.
We will see.
Yeah. Okay. All right. On to. Okay. So to finish off the rest of the X-Men related whatever.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to be watching Generation X pilot from 1994. Is it 1998?
I think it's 98. No, I think it's before 98.
96.
I think it's 96. Oh.
No. Yeah. I'm going to watch the. You know. Don't tell me nothing. Don't tell me. I'll go into it fresh. Because even though in my mind, they didn't make a TV series out of it. It might not be good. It might just actually be a really good pilot. You never know, right? I doubt it, but I don't want to taint my view of it before it starts. So we're gonna watch New Mutants, and then we're gonna watch So Gifted and Legion, are they in the same timeline themselves, or are they separate timelines?
I'm pretty sure they're separate timelines.
All right, and they're both separate from the X-Men Fox TV movie timeline.
I think, I think they're separate because in Gifted, the X-Men have gone. Can't remember why they've gone, and they are doing something.
All right. Well, just for the sake of equality, the Generation X TV pilot is 90 minutes. So I will watch the first 2 episodes of Gifted and first 2 episodes of Legion. That will give me 90 minutes, and then we'll have a little powwow about those. Finish and wait. Gifted and Legion, were they on Fox TV? Yeah. So Fox X-Men related properties. Yeah. Mutant X, by the way. Was that Fox as well?
No, that's way before everything. I don't think it's on Fox.
No, not Fox TV. No.
I don't know.
Mutant X was in 2001, right?
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. 2003. I don't know.
First aired in UK October 2001.
Yeah.
For some reason, I feel like it's older than that.
Mutant X, by the way, nothing to do. Even though it's got mutant in the title and X in the title, nothing to do with X-Men whatsoever. Even though also, in Age of Apocalypse, I believe when they changed all the titles of the the comics. So you had Amazing X-Men and Astonishing X-Men, and you had I think there was a title called Mutant X as well.
That sounds.
Yeah, because they had yeah. Anyways, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Remember that. Yeah. So those what we're gonna watch next, we'll tail off our X-Men, Fox, whatever.
Yeah.
Conversation, because as I haven't seen them, I can't really comment on exactly how much they're gonna be anything to do with anything.
Yeah.
But we'll finish it all off.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, Fox come up with another mutant-related TV show in between, and then we're like, okay, maybe we gotta.
They can't now. Fox
Yeah. Before everything goes to the MCU.
Yeah. But who knows? But yeah, I liked Gifted. I enjoyed it. I was quite pissed that it ended.
Well, no. We'll go on to that when we speak about it.
Yeah.
I was going to start asking you questions, but I was like, no. I haven't seen it, and not only that, you're going to take material that we could use there, use it here.
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
Though I do know that Charles Xavier does make a appearance in Legion, played by someone else completely, though.
Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure Legion is not going to do the stuff that he did to go back in time and try to kill Magneto, end up killing Xavier, and then causing the Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Would you think that would have made a good? If they adapted Age of Apocalypse, it would probably have to be a TV series.
Something like that. I'll go back to saying like it has to be animated because it doesn't make it. I don't think it could work any other way because it's just too bombastic for.
Okay, it's true. They'd have to really streamline it or just make it a 3-part animated movie.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Too much. Yeah.
Yeah. But well, maybe it's just me. But even though they ran I think did it run for 2 years?
Yeah, just
over 8 different comics and stuff like that.
Yeah, it ran through all the comics. That's why I say it, because it just went on forever.
Yeah. I know. Did it run for 2 months? I don't know, but no, it didn't run for 2 years. I'm thinking of, but it ran for It ran.
At least
did it run for you?
At least a year.
No, because it went through all the X-Men related comics, of which there were 8 of them. So it probably was only about 4 months worth of comics. But because there's so many X-Men related comics there.
Sure
it just felt longer than it was. Even when you collect the volumes together, it's like 5 volumes or something like that.
For some reason, I'm pretty sure it's a year. I'm pretty sure.
It might have been. I don't know. But that'd mean there's like 60 Age of Apocalypse related comics.
If you see the omnibuses and stuff, it's ridiculous. Like,
okay. All right. Maybe that is the case then. But anyways, this is us closing off this episode of Trip Around the Multiverse.
Go.
Yep. Oh, hon, forgot to point out there was that scene in X-Men Dark Phoenix where Jean Grey makes Xavier walk, and I was like, "Oh
yeah, that's
man,
funny. I should have laughed at that. That's quite funny.
No, but the thing is, I don't know why you were laughing at it. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible, but it was hilarious.
It was like it was really weird, like the way he was walking, like she was forcing his legs to move and stuff like that. Why were you laughing at it, by the way?
Because it's like because how out of order it is. It's like
yeah. I was gonna say it actually skirts the very fine line because of the performances in my mind, right?
Yeah.
It could have went. It can trickle over to that side, not because they aren't playing seriously, but because of how out of order it is. How I was like, what?
Yeah, like
you know?
That's so like petty and it's out of order. Why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, but they sell it to me that makes it more of a horror show.
Yeah.
Than not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, and the other things that I've going quickly back to. The Quicksilver bits were pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm glad they went over relying on them, but when they did do it in Days of Future Past, where Xavier obviously because he was walking, he'd taken that drug. He didn't have he couldn't control their minds.
Yeah.
And then Magneto's like, well, all right, well, I'm gonna have to kill all these people, right?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, you can't stop the bullets because they're plastic bullets. But then, you know what? I'm just come out and say I'm just gonna murder people. It doesn't help my reputation, but wait, you know.
Yeah.
And then Quicksilver, just doing the stuff he does.
Yeah, his slow motion part is amazing. Like very, very clever. Even the one in Apocalypse where he saves everyone in the
and then somehow like when he's punching Apocalypse and the way he's super speedy to Apocalypse, just punching him out of the air, like doing a float combo on him. Yeah. I'm like, all right. And then somehow Apocalypse was able to do a Kal-El and shift his eyes to move with the speed of Quicksilver. Like when Superman did it to Flash.
Yeah.
And then, he breaks his leg. I'm like, all right.
I buy it. Like, Apocalypse's powers don't make any sense, so yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. And then somehow Jean, like when Quicksilver's running up the pillars, that explodes the house or whatever it is, to Jean in the beginning of Dark Phoenix, and somehow she wipes him away.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's been back super speed, right?
But she's the Phoenix. The Phoenix is a god, so you know.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it's gonna be what it's going to be, right? That's why super speed is tricky, and that's why I have to say the decision that the MCU made not to use Quicksilver kind of made sense. Though you would have to depower him, not necessarily quite a lot, but if he's conversing with you, then he needs to move at a certain speed in order to have the conversation, because otherwise if he's speaking too fast, you're never going to speak what he says, yeah? So he has to slow himself down. Just like when Scott Steiner has to dumb himself down for all the rednecks, yeah?
Yeah.
So that I get, when you do that and then you catch him on his unawares.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time it's like, you're going to have to make lots of excuses for him to be at normal pace rather than super speed. And then, by the way, do you prefer the effect they did in the MCU, Quicksilver?
No.
Or do you like the blur, what they do as far as super speed is concerned here?
I prefer how they do it in the X-Men films.
Yeah. So I know the MCU just pops around and zips, and you kind of like see a kind of smoky streak-ish.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
Yeah. Here, I don't know how much you see a blow or anything like that, but I think every time they slow stuff down. And you see him moving at normal pace. So you don't see any, like, for example, the flash lightning effects or, you know, the blurs or something like that. They do it in a way that makes a bit more sense for the visuals.
Yeah.
And it's different. Yeah.
Tiny bit,
yeah. Okay, but now we are going to sign off.
We're going to sign off, yeah.
Sign off for this episode. I'm Ivan Ooze's lookalike twin brother. That's what people are saying Apocalypse look like, by the way. CY Chong.
And I am the random cameo by Chris Claremont, one of the original writers of X-Men, Carl Charles, because he appears in 2 X-Men films, randomly.
X-Men 3 and Dark Phoenix?
He appears in Days of Future Past, from correctly, and Apocalypse.
Oh, right. I thought he was in X-Men 3, no?
He might be. X-Men 3 doesn't count for anything. I shouldn't say that. And I'm pretty sure he's actually in Dark Phoenix as well. But hey, I don't know. I don't care. Yeah. And thank you for listening to us talk about the X-Men the X-Men First Class Timeline.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to call it anyways.
Yeah. The First Class line. Yeah. Thank you all for listening. What was your favourite film of these trilogies? Oh, no, foursome. Yeah, let us know. You can do
Quadrilogy, right?
Quadrilogy, yeah. That's it. That's the word. You can let us know, and you can do that by leaving us a little message on Instagram or a tweet on the Twitters. You can find where to get that lovely information, where to find us, on the little description bit in wherever you're listening to this, watching this. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel and tell your friends about us. And yes, that's it for now. And once again, my lovely Homo superior friends, I'd like to thank you all for taking a trip with us around the multiverse. Bye.
Bye.
Woo.
A gift from the past you left behind and the future that lies ahead. You will reach down, my son, deep into the earth. Rip everything they've built from the ground. Wipe clean this world. And we will lead those that survive into a better one.
And me? Am I to play a role in this madness?
You have the most important role of all.